Hi, this is Lance, and today is Thursday, April 23, 2020. And the topic of this nugget is the recovery. The recovery. You know, I've been thinking back. I shared in the last couple of days, I've had my own business since 2005. It'll actually celebrate 15-year anniversary coming up this July. And I've been thinking back. I've had three major disruptions in my time as an entrepreneur. There was the Great Recession, 2008, 2009. For me personally, there was Hurricane Harvey, which flooded my home and affected our business in Houston a few years ago. And now there's this pandemic. And I'm thinking in terms of the recovery. What's the recovery period going to be like? Well, of course, if you're watching the news, you can get everything from 6 to 12 months to it's the end of life as we know it. So I don't put a lot of credence into that. But what I compare the recovery period to for this pandemic is more like what Harvey was to us in Houston than what the global recession was, or the Great Recession was to us in 2008, 2009. In the example of the Great Recession, we had credit markets seize up. Economic fundamentals went bad. We had bad debt. We had toxic debt. That was an infrastructure problem that affected everybody. So commerce came to a halt, pretty much in real estate. Anything involving debt or conventional debt was shut down, and that was an extended recovery from the Great Recession. Harvey, I take Hurricane Harvey, when much of Houston was flooded, homes were flooded. And if you had watched the news at the time, I'm sure you were, if you watched the news at the time, of course, every scene was neighborhoods underwater. And that was some parts of Houston. But you would almost believe that was the entire state of Texas from watching the news. And in fact, once the waters receded, Houstonians, being Texans, being Americans, jumped into action. I was one of them in the midst of it. My house had been flooded, and all of a sudden resources started coming together, and we do what we Americans do best, and that is get back to work. And so there was a recovery period, but the good news is that, once the disruption was removed, it started returning back to normal. We knew the disruption was behind us. The hurricane was over. The flood waters were gone. Now let's get back to work. And so I put the recovery for this pandemic akin to the Harvey event for those of us in Houston. There has been a disruption, like a light switch lights were turned off temporarily, and we're all waiting for the lights to come back on so we can do what we do best and get back to work. And so there will be a recovery, and that's why I believe and talk about this window of opportunity for investors and entrepreneurs for the changes that are come through this recovery. I mean, I'll tell you right now, to prove that Americans just can't be held down, there's real estate transactions going on right now. I've already shared with you, we had a closing a week ago. We've got lining up another closing right now. We talk to apartment owners, small apartment owners, every day. They're doing showings. They're still renting units to people who have employment. We're lining up inspections on properties remotely. The inspectors are still doing inspections. They just go in, garbed up, protective gear, very protective of the environment, clean everything off. But commerce continues. And so I'm sharing this with you because we're talking about, we're soon going to be coming out of this thing. At least we're going to be coming back to some semblance of normal as states start opening up on a selective basis, regional basis. And there's this window of opportunity. So you need to be prepared. If real estate is in your choice of asset classes, if you want to get involved with real estate, this is the time. Because prices are going to go down. They're going to be depressed because of the disruption, just like they were in Houston homes with Hurricane Harvey. But then they come back. And they come back. There's a pent-up demand by this country to get back to work right now. And so the opportunity for us in real estate is be prepared. I've talked about in past sessions about what that means, etc. We'll continue talking about that. But I want to share my thoughts as I'm reflecting today and starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel, the recovery. There'll be a dip, but it's going to come back. And so now the opportunity is invest while there's a dip. Have a great day, everyone.